What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my PrizePicks Breakdown for UFC 300. We got Alex Pereira going against Jamal Hill. Absolute stat card here. Cannot wait to break down this card from a PrizePicks perspective. Talk about the 10 plays that do stick out this week. See if we can make some money on PrizePicks for UFC 300. Great card, big card. Can't wait to break it down. Before we do so, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It's always much appreciated. Let me know down in the comments what you guys like this week from a PrizePicks perspective. Always curious to hear what you guys are on this week as well. And then if you guys want to check out PrizePicks and you're new to PrizePicks, use promo code DFSBTN. With that promo code, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And now is a great time to sign up and check it out because we are getting a free square for UFC 300, which is going to be the first play I talk about. And it's Justin Gaethje, 0.5 significant strikes. So this is something I'm going to be adding to my PrizePicks play this week. It's a free square, and I don't see what world he goes out there and gets zero, obviously. So yeah, Justin Gaethje, add it to your favorite play this week. All he has to do is go out there and get one strike. So love the freebies they throw out, and thankfully they're throwing out a freebie for UFC 300. Again, if you want to check it out, promo code DFSBTN. Also on the significant strikes, I'm going to take the Alexander Rakic 42.5 significant strikes, and I'm going to take the less here for a couple reasons. For one, Alexander Rakic is disgustingly low volume. Like, there's some fights with Rakic where he's going 15 minutes and still landing like nothing. I mean, he's so low volume. There was that fight with Thiago Santos where he went out there. The fight went 15 minutes. He landed 36 significant strikes. There was the fight against Anthony Smith where Anthony Smith was dead to rights from the jump. He went out there, landed 44 significant strikes. And then, of course, in his fight against Jan Blachowicz, which got stopped in the third round, he only landed 27 significant strikes. So low volume, first and foremost. The other reason I don't mind this less is I think either guy is capable of getting finished here as well. I mean, if Alexander Rakic lands a big shot, like a head kick against Yuri, maybe he can knock out Yuri. And then as far as Yuri can finish anybody in the division on any given night. So I like the less here on Alexander Rakic, significant strikes. Moving on to the takedowns. Couple spots sticking out here. Going to start with the co-main event. Zhang Weili, 3.5 takedowns. It's a lot, but I'm taking the more here for Zhang Weili on the takedowns. I think she does go out there and get more than 3.5 takedowns. She went out there against Amanda Lemos, got 6, and I mean, it's obvious what the game plan here is going to be against Yan Xiaonan. On the feed, this is a competitive fight. It's a close fight, but where Zhang Weili is going to shine and look like this minus 500 favorite that she is going to be in the wrestling. It's going to be in the grappling. She's going to be able to take down Yan Xiaonan at will whenever she wants. And if this fight does get extended over, if it goes to full 25, I think she's smashing this more. I think if this does not hit, I think it's just a big fight IQ error on the Zhang Weili side. Like, I don't see why she wouldn't go out there and just wrestle up until potentially finishing the fight as well. So I like the more 3.5 takedowns for Zhang Weili. And then I'm going to go with the less takedowns for Aljamain Sterling. So Aljamain Sterling is probably going to attempt some takedowns in this fight, and maybe he does get one, but Aljamain Sterling's only landing 1.97 takedowns per 15 minutes, only completing takedowns at a 24% accuracy. He's taking on Calvin Kattar, up a weight class, his first fight at featherweight here. Calvin Kattar's much bigger, 5'11". Calvin Kattar on paper has a 91% takedown defense. So I'm not sure that Aljamain Sterling takes down Calvin Kattar. And if he does take him down, like that's probably the round. Aljamain Sterling, when he takes you down and gets on top of you, takes your back, you are not getting up. So I just struggle to see Aljamain Sterling going out there and pretty much landing a takedown in each round he'd have to. I don't think that's the case. I think this fight is actually primarily going to take place on the feet. I think Aljamain Sterling might get a takedown, but I think it does go less than 2 there. Moving on to the fight time. The first fight time that I'm going to touch on, and there's a couple that I don't mind here, is going to be the Diego Lopez fight time set at 10.5 minutes. I think it goes less here. So you add up Diego Lopez's last 2 fights, and it's like 3 minutes total. I think it probably gets a little bit more extended there. But yeah, both guys have paths to finish here, especially Diego Lopez. On the feet, Lopez flashes power, and then on the ground, this guy is no joke when it comes to the BJJ. I know Yusuf's a great grappler in his own right, but Lopez has submitted black belts in the past. So yeah, Lopez, very, very live for a finish. I actually think if he's going to win this fight, it's going to be by finish. And then as far as Yusuf has great striking. He has great power. Diego Lopez is very hittable. So I just think there's both paths for both guys to go out there and get a finish. And I think this fight does finish before that 10.5 minutes hits. Next, I'm going to go with the Jalen Turner fight time. 7.5 minutes, taking the less there as well. I think this fight ends probably in the first round is what I'm picking. Jalen Turner just has so much power. I think it's kind of a tough matchup for Renato Moicano. I think for Moicano to win this fight, he's going to have to close the distance, get this fight down to the mat, and I think it's going to be much easier said than done against Jalen Turner, who's massive for the division, who has very good takedown defense, and just has the death touch. I mean, when Jalen Turner lands on you, you're going down, and I think that's exactly what happens here. I think Jalen Turner knocks out Moicano in the first round, but yeah, give me that less than 7.5 minutes there. And then lastly, going to go with the Bo Nickel fight time set at 4 minutes, and I'm going to be taking the less here. I think he takes down Cody Brundage within the first 60 seconds and then starts working and eventually gets that sub. I think it comes probably thinking around maybe maybe even under a half a round. Like anytime we've seen Cody Brundage on bottom, it just hasn't looked great. We saw Mikel Olszewski pound him out. Obviously, Rodolfo Vieira subbed him. No shame in that. But SD Dumas was having success on top. So yeah, if Bo Nickel gets on top here, I think he eventually gets into a dominant position and finishes Cody Brundage before that 4 minutes. So give me the less here for Bo Nickel on that fight time. So yeah, taking a lot of lesses here on the fight time. I think we do get some violence. The other ones I don't really want to mess around with, but those were the kind of the three that stuck out the most. And then finally, we'll go to the fantasy score. And there are some things I'm liking here from a fantasy score perspective. The first one is going to be Davison Figueiredo, less than 96.5 fantasy score. The reason being is I think it's, this fantasy score is reliant on the first round knockout, but I have a feeling this fight, might get extended, if not even go the full 15 minutes. And on top of that, I have a feeling that this fight could be, I hate to say it, like one of the more boring fights on the card just because of how I kind of see it playing out. Cody Garbrandt's a guy that has completely changed up his style as of late. He knows that he cannot take a shot, especially against Davison Figueiredo. He's very, very low volume. Like Cody Garbrandt in that fight against Trevin Jones went 15 minutes, only landed 26 significant strikes. Against Rafael Assunção, a fight that was about to go into the third round. At that point, Cody Garbrandt landed 19 significant strikes, and that's how he's got to fight here. He's got to be very elusive. He cannot go in there and exchange too much with Figgy, and if he does that, he's getting knocked out. So I think we're going to get a slower-paced fight, a fight that does get extended, and if Figgy's not knocking out Cody Garbrandt in the first round, if Cody can last to at least the second, I think this less hits here on the fantasy score. I think it's way too high at 96.5. Next on the fantasy score, I'm going to be going with the Bo Nickel, less than 118.5. That's too high for me. I mean, Bo Nickel's going to get a takedown, so there's 6 points right there. He's going to get a first round finish, but on PrizePicks you get 0 points for control time. That's huge here. 0 points for control time, and then on PrizePicks you get 0 points for non-significant strikes. So if Bo Nickel goes out there, takes down Cody Brundage, advances to a dominant position, and subs him, all you're getting is a takedown and a first round finish bonus, and it's not even going to come close to 119 points. So the only way I see this hitting is I'd have to be like multiple takedowns. It'd have to be a decent amount of significant strikes, but Bo Nickel's not really going out there and pounding guys out. He's more so looking for the sub. So I think Bo Nickel wins. I think he wins in the first round, but I don't think he scores 119. So yeah, give me the less here on Bo Nickel fantasy score. That's one I like a decent amount, actually. And then finally going to go with a Alexander Rakic less here, and it's set at 75.5 for the fantasy score. Yeah, I can see this hitting in a multitude of ways. Like Alexander Rakic, his fights are brutal to watch, which I'm hoping this fight's more exciting since it's a Yuri fight. I'm hoping Yuri kind of brings the fight out of Rakic, but still, he's so low volume. Maybe he can wrestle here, and even if he does, like, again, on PrizePicks, you don't get points for control time or non-significant strikes. Alexander Rakic barely throws significant strikes, so I think it's kind of reliant on an early finish here for Rakic, because if this fight does go to decision, it's probably a terrible fight, to be honest, and I'm not even convinced that Rakic wins this fight first and foremost. So we're taking the less here for Rakic on the fantasy score. He's just so inactive. He's not great at scoring fantasy points. But yeah, guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could like on your way out, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what plays you like the best from a PrizePicks perspective. Don't forget to check out PrizePicks and use that promo code DFSBTN. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100, and go get yourself on that free square. I'm about to put in a play either tonight or tomorrow. Put that free square in it and bump it up there. So yeah, guys, best of luck for UFC 300. We'll talk to you very soon, and see you guys later.